In 1999, it was believed that a watch with an automatic movement wouldn't work in outer space. At the time, the only watches worn by astronauts were powered by quartz or manual wound movements. But of course, the automatic movement does, in fact, work in outer space. The belief that it didn't was nothing more than a fallacy promoted by brands that didn't manufacture automatic movements. The space watch is the epitome of product placement, and these mass consumer brands had to place what would sell.
In 1965, even NASA bought into this fallacy that automatic watches don't work in outer space. Because of zero gravity, it was assumed that the rotor would not spin and thus not powering the mainspring. But it's not gravity that spins the automatic rotor. It's the motion of the arm, which you can do in outer space. And the rotor will spin thanks to the concept of inertia. Any smaller object attached to that larger force of the arm is going to accelerate.
Omega did it because they didn't have anything else.
Yeah.
And they didn't have also at that time an automatic movement, because on the moon, Omega Moon watch is a hand-wound movement. And they came up with because an automatic doesn't work in space. And we proved that it works in space. Because the guy who got that that watch, it's a physical process, mass times acceleration gives a force.
In fact, a chronometer-grade timepiece, losing or gaining no more than 2 seconds a day, will actually perform better in zero-gravity conditions, as Earth's gravity is responsible for a fraction of plus or minus 2 seconds inaccuracy a day for the best of automatic watches. But the automatic watch wasn't invented until 1969. If it was ready for the first line of space watches in 1965, well then, it would have almost certainly been chosen to accompany astronauts in outer space. It wasn't until 1985 that the first automatic watch would be worn in spaceflight. The SIN 142, worn by Richard Führer aboard the Challenger spacecraft on his German D1 Space Lab mission. But the mission only lasted 168 hours. Could such a short trip really prove the efficacy of automatic watches in outer space, serving as reliable and accurate tools for an extended period of time? So the fallacy of automatic watches lived on until 1999, which was when we, Towson Watch Company, set it to rest by putting our STS-99 Chronometer on the wrist of Commander Gerard Thiel on his STS-99 space mission, which lasted 6 months. And yes, it proved to be a reliable and effective tool throughout the entire mission.